It's the Santana Show. Interesting guests and insight in good conversation with Naomi Santana. Lock in, listen, engage.
Welcome to the Santana Show. My guest today is Hannah Falcon. Hannah graduated from Texas A&M University with a degree in telecommunication media. Is that correct?
Yes.
And journalism. Hannah is currently a reporter at ABC 17 in Missouri. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Thank you for your time too. So how did you become interested in journalism?
It's a great question. I always liked writing. Um, and I was taking a journalism class my freshman year of college, and a girl in the class told me they were looking for writers at the newspaper, and I was like, thought I'd give it a shot. So I applied and became a writer, and I just really liked it. I feel like it really clicked for me. So I went from there. And then my dad works with video. He has a production studio, so he kind of got me into working with that medium, I guess. And I think it all just kind of snowballed from there.
That's fantastic. That's awesome that your dad, works with video production, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's cool that you got your start at the student newspaper. Same here. I was also involved in the student newspaper on my campus. Um, so are you originally from Texas?
I am from Texas. I'm from Houston.
Oh, from Houston. Oh, that's nice. So how did you encounter this opportunity, this job that you have currently in Missouri?
Yeah, so, in broadcast, you have to kind of start small and work your way up. I knew that going into it. Um, but, I didn't know a lot of small towns. And I kind of started applying to companies. I asked people I knew that were working what companies they liked, which ones they liked working for. And I looked into those companies and which openings they had on their websites, and I applied through there. And I think that I just found it through there. I liked the company.
Uh-huh.
Back to all the openings, probably like 50 jobs in different places. And I just picked the one that seemed the best fit. I had a really good conversation with the general manager when I was interviewing, and it felt like they had the same values that I did when it came to journalism.
That's fantastic. What tips would you give to someone who is like preparing for a job interview? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think be confident, probably practice it a lot. I know I was super nervous when I was interviewing for jobs, and I think that was probably not a good thing. A lot of people were, I'm naturally a very quiet, introverted person. I think that I let that show a little bit too much in some interviews, and I kind of got some feedback. It was like, you seem a little quiet for TV. So
Uh-huh.
I think just be confident. Let your personality show through. Let what you're passionate about show through. I would honestly say not to worry too much about trying to be the perfect candidate, and remember that you're also interviewing them. You want to find someone that fits you as well. You don't want to sacrifice anything for what you think might be the perfect job, because you're not going to be happy if you can't find someone that matches you as well.
Right. Yeah, that's a good tip to be confident. Yeah. There was actually a position that I applied to when I was in the student newspaper, and I was so nervous. Like I was doing fine, like at the beginning of the interview, and then towards the end, I kind of got nervous because like they asked me a question and it kind of threw me off. So I was like, oh.
Yeah,
And
there's some,
then like they gave me feedback, the advisor gave me feedback, but I didn't get it, but it was a good experience, I guess, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I definitely got thrown off, like thinking back at interview processes and people throw those unexpected questions. I feel like a lot of people ask the same questions over and over again. You kind of get your answer down for those, and then those curveball questions.
Yeah. That's crazy. Um, so you said you worked with your student newspaper, right? So can you tell me a little bit more about that? Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, that was great experience getting my foot in the door. I really learned a lot, grew really fast through that. It, it's crazy to think back on what you when you first started, what you thought was hard too, because it was like, oh, I have to write like 2 stories a week, and I thought that was so much work, and I
Right.
love to do that now. But it was great. I think that it was a great learning experience. I felt like it really prepared me um, for this job for writing, and I get told that I'm a strong writer. I think that that's my strong suit in this job is writing, and I think that that's because I really took on all of the criticism and advice that I got while I was working there. I think the strong writing is really the foundation of any journalism job, any medium you're working with. You need to have that strong writing. Um, but I also got a lot of really good opportunities. I didn't go to a journalism school. A&M's really not known for journalism at all, but it's a really
Right.
cool. It's a
Yeah.
really cool. So when you get involved in that school at any level, there's a lot of opportunities to do really interesting things. So I got to go to a lot of really big events and meet a lot of really important people because of that I wouldn't have gotten if I'd gone to a smaller journalism school. So there's definitely pros and cons to that.
Yeah. That sounds fantastic. Have you had any internships that have helped also?
Yeah, I interned, I guess a real internship. Um, In the journalism world, I interned at the station in Houston, KPRC. That was a really great, I think that was a really great introduction to broadcast journalism. They have a very like curated internship program, and you really get your foot in all of the areas of the newsroom. They let you try out everything from the assignment desk, producing to reporting and anchoring. So you try out everything. Um, and then I also had an internship in Austin, Texas at KXAN. And that was a political reporting internship specifically. I am really interested in political reporting and would like to pursue that. So that was really great to just spend a semester with all of their political reporters in the state capitol and see how they operate, see what they do on day to day. And that one I feel like was more hands-on and in-depth than the first one, which I think was really great because I got that introduction and then I got to really get into it. And they really let me kind of make the internship what I wanted to. I was really grateful for that. And I've also interned not in journalism. I worked at a fire station actually and had a really great mentor there. She taught me a lot about like communications, public information. It was really great to learn like the other side of things. And
Hmm.
really, she's a really great mentor and someone I'm in contact with for years. And I also interned on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. with a congressman. And that was really great to also see a different side of things and kind of see how politics and the government works from the inside. You really learn a lot. I honestly, I paid attention in school as much as the next person, but there's some things you don't learn about the government until you're really in it. And I think it's a really great experience and really helped me since I want to do that and I'd wanted to get into the political reporting, knowing what they're doing and how their offices operate really helps me as a journalist know how best to report on and how to talk to them and relate to them. So,
Wow, that's great. That's great that you have a variety and also that you were able to intern at the Capitol. That's just fascinating. I think you mentioned you have a mentor because you said you worked at a fire station too, right?
Mhm.
Um, so do you have any like other mentors like in the journalism field? If so, like what would you say? Like how would you approach someone? Like, can you be my mentor per se? Like not really like that, but like how would you approach it, I guess?
Um, well, I chose to do that internship because of her. Because she's got years of experience. She had 10 years in radio journalism and then 10 years working on the Capitol Hill herself. And now she's on to like her third job, her third career kind of. So my dad actually introduced me to her. So, connections everywhere you can make. But I think just building that relationship with someone. I also find that I don't know, I've thought through college, I found people are very willing to just go to coffee and sit down with you if they have the time to. I guess I don't know if coffee dates are as popular in the way the world has gone the past few years, but
Yeah.
but definitely just like asking someone to coffee, asking for a phone call, just people are very willing to help. And I think once you build that relationship with them, it can just stick. And a lot of it's also just about keeping in touch with someone. And I think also once you prove yourself in a way to them, so like with her, I was working for her and she could see my work ethic and she could see the quality of work I can do. So she can give me genuine advice and genuine recommendations to people and help me connect to people. And the things she's saying really mean something because she knows me and she knows how I work. So I think also being able to do that. And yeah, I don't know if a lot of stations or newspapers or anything are letting people do shadowing right now, but I know a lot of people will shadow someone they admire. Well, at least my station's still being very cautious about visitors, but
Mhm.
I think that would also be a great way to get to know.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. That's so true. Like you said, now it's more restricted. What do you like to do in your free time or like to de-stress or what do you like to do?
I really like to be around people. Um, but honestly, most of the people I know here are my coworkers, so it doesn't. Um, I like reading. I prefer fiction. I've noticed a lot of people are reading a lot of nonfiction lately. I don't know if that sounds ignorant. Maybe people have always been reading nonfiction and I just didn't notice. But I'm not like when I'm reading for fun, I want it to be light and easy reading. Um, I like games. I like board games and card games and easy video games, like the Mario Kart type video games, and not like competitive game. I guess Mario Kart is competitive, but um,
Yeah, yeah, it can be competitive, but but it's fun.
yeah.
I like that game too. And also
Uh,
reading fiction, something light too.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm the same way with TV shows. I mean, I don't like watching serious shows in my free time. I'm like, life is serious. If I'm watching this for fun, I don't want it to be stressful.
Right, right. So no like suspense shows like Criminal Minds or like Law and Order or something like that.
So many of my coworkers are into like true crime. I'm like, our job is
What
kind of
is that?
don't you get enough of that?
Exactly. That's crazy. Oh, but no, that's good though. And like I found some like connections there too, because like we some similarities, I mean.
Are you
What would
reading
you say are or have been some of your best and worst moments on camera?
on camera? Oh man, I mean, I can forget what I'm gonna say sometimes, kind of phrase up. I definitely said the wrong name before. That was really awkward. Not like my name, like I said the wrong name for someone else. And then actually had the mayor text me and say, "Hey, that was not the right person." And it's like, well, really called out right there by the mayor. So that was not a great moment. That was not a shining moment. I haven't had any bloopers that were like too big. I'm kind of disappointed about that. I think it would be kind of funny, but I don't have any funny moments.
Maybe sometime in the future.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you can't force it. And it also would not be funny if it was on a serious story. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
stories have to align for those like perfect blooper moments.
Yeah. um Speaking of bloopers and all that, what would you say, like, what would you say is needed for a reel? Like someone preparing their reel, what would you tell them?
Yeah. I was told a lot of conflicting advice when I was trying to make a reel. So I think um what I would say is take all of the advice with a grain of salt. And at the end of the day, if someone tells you something, like if someone tells you to take out something but you really like it, don't just do what you think is best at the end of the day. Do leave what you're most proud of. But also if there's something in there that you don't really like, I don't know, like you might have something that you like and you're proud of one aspect of it, and then you're like, oh, but the camera work was really terrible. I would leave that stuff out, or
Mhm.
I don't know, even try to reshoot it if you can, because you do want to put your best foot forward. You do want to put in stand-ups and things that you really think of, like the way you look, you like the way you sound, you like what you're saying, and you like the way it's like framed or whatever. When the reel that I had coming out of college, I think almost all of my stand-ups were completely staged. I got no shame with that. That is something you should do if you're in college. You're not working, you're not doing stand-ups every day. Yeah, go out and shoot stand-ups to show what you could do. Because the point that I was at was like I'm not working, I'm not doing stand-ups live on TV every day. The people looking at my reel know this. They know I'm coming out of college. I'm not working, so they're not expecting me to be live on network TV every day or anything. But it shows what I can write in a stand up. It shows like ideas I can come up with. And it was also coming out of the height of the pandemic where I could not just go shadow someone and shoot a stand up with um, my internship or anything like that. I wasn't doing those things because I couldn't go to any stations or anything like that with the pandemic happening. So I did have to shoot them myself. But I think that also a lot of starting jobs are going to be MMJ, and you are going to be shooting a lot of your own things. So it is good to have a lot of stuff that you shot, you wrote, you edited all by yourself on your reel, because that's probably what you're going to be doing in your first job. Also put the kind of
Exactly.
you want to be doing. Um, you might have done a story for your internship or for your school, and maybe it's not like something you're super excited about. I would leave that off too. I would just put in stories that you're really passionate about. That, like if you want to be a sports reporter, have sports stories in your thing. If you want to do a lot of feature stories, have a lot of feature stories. Like have the kind of content that you like want to be producing at a job so that people can imagine you in those roles.
Right. That's perfect. I like the way that you phrase that. Like have the content that you are interested in, right? Like
Yeah.
you're showing what you want to do, right? Like type
Yeah.
of stories that you want to cover. Is there anything else that you would like to add to our conversation today? Any
Um,
tips, any advice, anything?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you've heard before, this job's not glamorous. Being a journalist is not the glamour that people think it is. it's hard work. Some days are hard, but some days are very, very rewarding. And you know, but if you're very passionate about telling stories and getting to meet different kinds of people, and if you're passionate about writing and using other aspects to tell a story, then this is a good job, and we need more passionate people doing this job.
That's perfect. Would you like to share your social media handles?
Sure, yeah, I'm Hannah Falcon TV on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Hannah Falcon TV on Instagram and Twitter. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hannah.
You've been listening to The Santana Show with Naomi Santana. Interesting guests and insight with good conversation. You can follow Naomi on Twitter at Naomi Santana 45 and The Santana Show at The Santana Show _. Please subscribe to The Santana Show on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Join Naomi again next time on The Santana Show.